This is WVUA Law Call.
Hi there and welcome into WVUA Law Call. Tonight our topic is Meet the Judge. If you end up in court, just how much power does a judge have over you? Will your case be heard and decided by a judge or by a jury? And just exactly what happens in court? All those questions we're going to answer tonight and a whole lot more. First, we need your phone calls. Here's the number to reach our attorneys and our judge. It's 205-348-WVUA, 205-348-9882. Also, you can email those questions into lawcall@wvuatv.com. We're going to take some of those email questions on the air in just a little while, so go ahead, get them in. While we wait for those calls, we are going to let you know what's coming up here in the next few weeks on WVUA Law Call. Next week is June 11th. We are talking all about summertime injuries, a pretty timely topic. Then on June 18th, Dad and the Law, just in time for Father's Day. Then June 25th is immigration law. Of course, we've got Bob Prince in tonight. He was off last week, of course, away working.
Right, had to let Matt stand in.
Yes.
People get tired of me if I'm here every single week.
I don't know about that, but you know, you have to give Matt a turn, and he did a really good job, and
Always
certainly
does.
glad to have Matt in.
Right.
And tonight we're talking about Meet the Judge. We're going to get to that in just a few minutes, but usually Bob, our guest, is an attorney, and well, there's a little bit more we could say about that, because maybe tonight we have an attorney as well. This is a very interesting show. But Meet the Judge is pretty interesting because a lot of folks just don't know how the court system works.
Right. Sometimes I don't, Terry.
And you need to meet the judge.
But you're right. We do. We have a lawyer that practices law, and he's also a judge. I want to welcome Wayne Williams to the show.
Thank you all.
And Wayne has been with us 3 or 4 times, actually.
A few.
So he's used
Always
to
enjoy
this.
it.
Well, we're certainly glad that you're here tonight. And Bob, tell us a little bit more about Wayne.
Yeah, let me brag on him just a little bit. He, first of all, his experience is varied enough that there's not many subjects that you could stump him on. He's been the district attorney, so he's prosecuted cases. He was the president of our bar association. He's been a practicing lawyer now for almost, let's see, Wayne, I'll probably get this wrong, but let's see, 30 years or so, and or longer. And he's one of the best lawyers in town. He knows municipal law, obviously, because he's a judge. But he also knows about personal injury. He and the firm he practices in with Eddie Pratt, it's Williams, Pratt and Collins, and they do a great job in a lot of areas. They concentrate on personal injury and domestic relations type cases. Wayne and his wife have just been very active. He and Nancy all around town in our civic organizations. We just couldn't have a better guest than Wayne Williams.
And we are certainly glad to have Wayne back with us. And we'll talk a little bit more about this. It's very interesting, though, that you're an attorney and a judge. Probably a lot of people out there don't know that you can be both at the same time.
Well, most municipal judges in the state are both an attorney as well as a judge. Now, there are 5 counties in the state that have full-time municipal judges. The larger counties, which are Montgomery, Mobile, Birmingham, Huntsville, and the city of Tuscaloosa has full-time judges. But the other municipalities have part-time judges. That means that we conduct the traffic dockets and the misdemeanor dockets for a particular city. And then we also practice law part-time, so we are considered to be part-time judges.
All right, very interesting, and we're going to talk a lot about what goes on with a municipal judge, what goes on in the courtroom. Those phone lines are filling up, but before we get to your calls, we have a photo that we want to show. Bob brings this photo every week and talks about the meaning behind that photo. Bob, what do we have this week?
Well, the point that I want to stress on this one is we have a tractor trailer that's turned over in a bridge, and it's on fire. And when the police investigated this, Terry, they determined that this truck driver did not obey the sign that said to slow his speed. You know, he was obviously in an area that he was not familiar with and going too fast. That's a lesson for all of us, to watch those road signs. It ended up costing him his life.
And Bob, in your practice, you deal a lot with accidents involving big trucks.
We do.
Lots of people are hitting the road this summer for vacations, probably folks heading to the beach or destinations just this evening. What type of tips can you give folks about sharing the road with those big trucks?
I was going to Birmingham one day, and one of my friends owns a trucking company, and I was passing an 18-wheeler. He was a passenger in my car, and I was talking to him. And I took my time passing the 18-wheeler, and he interrupted me and said, "You need to get on around." And it reminded me that in the back of an 18-wheeler, there's a blind spot right at the left wheel. If you're passing him on the left, he can't see you. And the rule is, if you can't see him If he can't look in that mirror and see you, he can come into your lane. That blind spot causes a lot of problems. So the tip would be, don't get too close. When you decide to pass, go ahead and get around them.
All right, some good information for all the drivers out there. Let's go ahead and get to those phone lines. Up first tonight, we've got Don calling us from Northport. Hi there, Don.
How you doing?
Doing good, Don. We're certainly glad to have you on the phone tonight. What's your question tonight?
Yes, if you have a no trespassing sign on your property and a person comes to your house or home and they injure themselves, could you be sued?
All right, well, this is a question for either one of you guys.
Wayne's got this one.
I'll take the first one. Actually, if you have a no trespassing sign up, then that would be require a willful injury to the trespasser before you could be sued. Just a negligent situation, you would not be able to be sued. The homeowner would be safe there if you put up a no trespassing sign.
The case that we studied in law school, you might remember, is the spring gun. People would set a gun up in a house or a residence or wherever, and so that when somebody opened the door, the gun would go off. And they said, obviously, you can't even do that to a trespasser. So.
All right, very interesting and something a lot of folks wonder about. Next up is Rodney in Northport. Hi, Rodney.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good, Rodney. What's your question tonight?
I'm wanting to know, how does a case work when I have a lawsuit that's pertaining to workers' comp? Is there always a trial involved?
Me?
Well, Bob, you first on workman's comp.
That one's so easy, you're going to let me do it. There's not always a trial involved in any kind of case. A workers' comp is no different than any other lawsuit in that you're making a claim and it can be settled. There are certain requirements that you have to do, give notice and that sort of thing. There are some differences. You don't get a jury trial. If you do have a trial, it's before a judge. But all cases can be settled just about at any time. Lawyers don't like to do that until they find out enough about the case to adequately advise you on what to do. But yes, a workers' comp can be settled without a trial.
One thing about workman comp, though, is that there usually is a proceeding before the judge to confirm that the employee knows and understands the terms of the settlement and understands that this will be all the compensation. And since it's a mathematical calculation usually, a judge will make certain that that injured employee understands fully those calculations.
Right.
Wayne, what types of cases come before you in municipal court?
We handle traffic offenses and misdemeanors that occur within the city limits of Northport or within our police jurisdiction. It's like having a bubble and then an outer bubble. Our city limits is the inner bubble, and then 3 miles out extends our police jurisdiction. So any traffic offense or any small misdemeanor, and a misdemeanor being something that carries up to 12 months, but not over 12 months. The year and a day means it's a felony. If it's 12 months is the punishment, maximum punishment, then it's a misdemeanor offense.
And in municipal court, you're the judge and the jury.
Oh, yes. It's as much power as a federal judge. The only thing I can say is that in municipal court, no matter what a municipal judge decides in the case, in the trial, that person has 14 days to appeal and get a brand new trial in circuit court.
But you know, Wayne, in municipal court, that's the most of the people, that's where they either get justice or get, that's their exposure to our judicial system.
It's a large responsibility because I deal with so many people that I'm the only judge they'll ever come in contact with. They won't have a serious enough case to come in contact with a circuit court judge. They're not going to commit a felony in their whole life, but they may inadvertently get a speeding ticket, most everybody does, or some kind of misdemeanor offense. So I deal with so many people. It really is a people job.
All right, and we'll talk much more about that, but let's go ahead and get back to those phone lines. Sharon in Tuscaloosa. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
Sharon, what's your question tonight?
Well, it's kind of a long, drawn-out thing, but a few years back I had an aunt and uncle that ended up in the court system, and the daughter basically, got things stirred up pretty good, and it never would have happened if it hadn't been for the fact that they had a little bit of money.